Good. Yeah. This is like that Morari Bapu's Jhula. Yeah. Yeah.
Murari Bapu's Jhula.
Yeah. That swing. So what we say is Sukham Sthiram Asanam. So while teaching and all, it doesn't move around like this. But anyhow, that's the topic for another time.
There will be locks now. In the down there will be lock where no, not for the swing.
Not for the swing.
If you don't
Yeah.
book too much.
No, it's going back to Shambhavi's room. That's what it's going to do. So, now that...
Someone moving it?
No, that's okay. I'll hold it with my knee here. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we were, as an introduction to the next verses that are going to come up, we were talking about the role of the teacher, and the role of the teacher is such that the teacher has the responsibility of teaching, but then also, because it is Kali Yuga, and even in other yugas, the Upashamanam means what? The putting out of the fear in the mind of the student. As we will see, it is all demonstrated very, very nicely here. In the Samvada that's going to come up, it's very beautifully demonstrated, and so these are the twofold functions. So the teaching is, of course, who is being taught? The adult Jignasu who has come for the knowledge is who is being taught. Who is afraid? The inner child is afraid. Those are two entities. In fact, the adult and the inner child are like Navagrahas in the temple. They don't face each other. So the 9 planets, when they put in the temple, none of them should face one another. That's the main law. Because if they face, they create problems. So they don't face one another. And so too here, the inner child has its face turned from the adult because it doesn't trust the adult. It did not trust the mother and father. Why? Because they were not primary caregivers. What were they? Primary caregivers. Okay, so then it lost the trust there at a young age. And then after that, what happened? That trust did not come back. So there are two entities inside. That's what happens to Arjuna too. It's very clear in the beginning. Who is the one who is the warrior ready to do his duty, and who is the one who is sitting weeping inside the chariot? They are two different people, completely different. And then the one sitting in the chariot and crying is the one addressed before the teaching can take place. So if Arjuna had been taught in the beginning, what is that? Ashocyan anvashochastvam prajnavadamscha bhashase, etc., etc. The inner child would have said, what is this gobbledygook? I don't understand anything. What is this nonsense? I'm going away. That is what makes one leave Vedanta, because they feel like it is not helping me. And it's the inner child's decision, not the adult's decision. And so here, very beautifully it is talked about, and I gave that, we'll look at that example which I gave yesterday. Somebody comes into the room screaming, I have been bitten. They examine the fellow's body, no bite marks are there. Then they take the fellow outside and say, please tell, where is the snake that bit you? And what does the person show? Rope. Very quickly the aropa has been done here. A mistake is there, and the person is jumping up and down, I'm going to die, I need an antidote. So what will the person do? To calm the fellow down, you cannot say, come on, don't be silly, this is the rope. First you have to say it is not a snake, then you have to say it is a rope, but this is still within the realm of teaching. To get to the place of being able to tell him or her, this is not a rope, this is not a snake, this is just a rope, you have to calm the person down. And so what should the clever friend, what will the friend do? The friend will say, oh, that's a very bad and big snake. But you know what? You're very lucky. Look, you're not feverish. Look, the poison is not climbing. I have an antidote. Where? Suddenly the hope has come. I have an antidote. Where? In my house, in my room. Come inside. Sit. And then you give some candy in the form of a pill. Swallow it quickly. Yeah, immediately you have to swallow. And then you have to put a wet cloth on your forehead and lie down. And you have to take some deep breaths. And then you're okay. And then 15 minutes later, I'm saved. Yes, you are. You're all right. And then you take the person out and say, what? This is not a rope. Neti, neti. Iti. Sorry, this is not, what is that? Snake. You understood. This is not a snake. Neti. What is it? Rope. Both the things are talked about. This is how Ajnana Nirasanam, the removal of Ajnanam takes place. So the teacher at least has a dual, what's its name? The dual job of holding the book in one hand and a rattle in the other. What's a rattle? You know?
Noise, toys.
Yeah, a noisy toy. It's called rattle. Yeah, because the baby is already rattled. So you just to make the noise and the child is disturbed. Oh, nice, some colors will be there, some lights will be there, some sound is there, and the baby is attracted to it, stops crying and then grabs onto the rattle. So the teacher is holding Upanishad book in one hand and rattle in the other. That's why we see this in Lord Dakshinamurti also. You know, in one hand, there is in the left hand, left is the feminine side, Shruti is feminine. So the left hand holding the book, Veda, and in the right top hand, what is there? Rattle. To quieten down the non-trusting, difficult one who feels overwhelmed, who feels hopeless. More than overwhelmed, hopelessness is the hallmark of every inner child in the whole world. All of them feel hopeless. Why? Because they were crying and they were not picked up. So the parents were tired. They said, let this one cry. Especially if it's not the first child. First child means, oh, it's crying, oh. Second child, the first one survived. This one will also somehow survive, no problem. Parents are more confident. Nothing will happen if it cries. Let it cry. It's okay. Why? Because the father is tired, mother is tired. How much to pay attention? And not that they are neglectful, but by the time they go, it will have already come to the conclusion, nobody cares, nobody loves me, I'm all alone, I'm alienated from everything. That is how the life of a jiva starts. The only antidote to all of this is Vedanta. Nothing else will work. You can do Shirshasana, but nothing else will work. This is the only antidote is Vedanta, and somehow we have to work with the inner child as long as it takes for it to stay in the class. Then it will work. For it to stay and then be transformed. That is the idea. So Ukta Sadhana Sampannaha. So the student, that is the word, that is the phrase for the student. Who is Ukta Sadhana Sampannaha? Student. Ukta Sadhana means Ukta Sadhanani, the aforementioned Ukta Sadhana, the aforementioned sadhanas, verse 33 or verse 18. If you are following Swamiji's book, it's verse 18, otherwise it's verse 33. Ukta Sadhana Sampannaha, the one who is endowed with the aforementioned qualifications. What are the aforementioned qualifications? Shamadama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam, Viveka, Vairagya, Mumukshutvam. We are not going to any of that. Okay? Yeah. Tattva Jignasuhu Atmanaha. So the one who wants for themselves the moksha through tattva jnanam, the one who knows I'm not going to get moksha by any other means, only through atma jnanam there is moksha, the one who knows, then what should they do? Upasidet. May they approach the Guru. Who is the Guru? Pragyam Guru. Pragyam Gurum Upasidet. Somebody who knows and somebody who is willing to teach. Don't approach a Mauni Baba or Mata. Somebody who says, I know everything but I will not speak. Why? Because I have taken a vow of silence. What will happen if you go to such a person? As long as you're sitting in front of them, you will feel calm, you will feel good. As soon as you get up and leave, all the ghouls of restlessness and agitation, they all come up. Then there is an addiction to going and sitting next to the Mahatma. But that's not how the knowledge comes sitting next to. You have to be able to get a teacher, to select a teacher who knows and who is willing to teach. In that order. Simply willing to teach but doesn't know, that doesn't work. Knows but is not willing to teach or not able to teach, that will also not work. So therefore, Gurum Pragyam, the one who knows, the one who is ready to impart, the one who is ready to teach, that one you have to find. Why? Yasmat, from whom Bandha Vimokshanam. So from whom the moksha or freedom from bondage is there. Bondage here is a notional bondage. This is what I said, that notion of bondage because of Atma Ajnanam is construed as an ocean of bondage. So the one who tells whatever you're feeling is not the reality, it is mithya. That is the one who is the teacher. Next one, 34, 35, mishmash. Okay. Shrotriyo vrajino kamahataha. Shrotriyo vrajino kamahataha. Yo brahma vittamaha.
Yo brahma vittamaha.
Brahmanyuparatah shantaha.
Brahmanyuparatah shantaha.
Nirindhana ivanalah.
Nirindhana ivanalah.
Ahetukadaya sindhuhu.
Ahetukadaya sindhuhu.
Bandhuranamatam satam.
Bandhuranamatam satam.
Tamaradhya gurum bhaktya.
Tamaradhya gurum bhaktya.
Prahva prashraya sevanaihi.
Prahva prashraya sevanaihi.
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 Prasannam tamanuprapya.
Prasannam tamanuprapya.
Priched jnatavyamaatmanah.
Priched jnatavyamaatmanah.
Yeah, many verses are combined here because they're all the same topic. The first one you will recognize, Shrotriyaha, Avrijinaha, Akamahataha. Where we heard these words? Bhagavad Gita class. Yeah, Taittiriya, this is what we have been doing. In the Taittiriya, only Shrotriya and Akamahata. And in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, one more word is there. What is that? Avrijinaha. Vrijinam papam. Avrijinaha papa vimuktaha. Papa vimuktaha means the one who is dharmic. Meaning, no papa means what? Naturally, they are following dharma. So, the first two verses are the glowing review of the Guru. Because the inner child has to trust enough to go to the Guru. This is the thing. Inner child means, I am not aware of this because I have suppressed it. People say, what this inner child you keep talking about? I've had a very good childhood, nothing bad happened. that means something definitely happened. Because this is how one of the main things about the inner child is the denial. That it is there is a denial, and because of that, one feels unheard. And so, this entity, full of hurts, is the hopeless one. Why is it the hopeless one? Because it had Shraddha in the parents or the primary caregivers, and that Shraddha was broken. Why? Because the parents were tired. They are also fallible. They are not Bhagavan. But the child looked upon them as Bhagavan because the child had what is called Shobhana Adhyasa, a positive transference. Why did the child have a positive transference on the parents? The child had a positive transference on the parents because it thought this is the only way I can survive. By making them great, by seeing something extra, because I feel helpless and I am helpless, and this is what is needed, and this is what is exactly they are. They can walk, they can talk. I'm just lying here, batting at my toys in my crib. What am I? Nothing. These people are everything. And this goes until the mother drops the child down a flight of stairs. Boing, boing, boing. Then what happens? The inner child says, oh my God, this person cannot be trusted. I put complete trust into this person with my life. And what did this person, what did she or he do? Dropped me, not only dropped me on the floor, but dropped me down a flight of stairs. But the child cannot hold on to this memory because it still needs the parents to feed it, to clothe it, to send it to school, to hug it when it is scared and all these things. So it suppresses that. That's how there are two beings growing within. Dvaita starts right here. And that inner child is the cause of pratibhasika, the vikshepa, the projection that one has about oneself, about the universe, about Ishvara. This is how it is. And so the inner child is because the Shraddha was disturbed. So therefore, that Shraddha and Bhakti towards the primary caregivers was disrupted so badly. That's why there is doubt, distrust and hopelessness. This is the ingredients of the inner child. And it is activated in any kind of an authority situation. So the parents are authority figures, correct? And you come to Vedanta, Acharya has rules, again authority figure, right? One feels like running away. I don't want the rules. What's going on over here? I don't want this. And then what does the Acharya say? Acharya says, okay, this is the nature of Ishvara. And as soon as one hears the word Ishvara, itching starts. Big, what are they called? Hives come. Why? Ishvara is the biggest authority figure. Nobody other than Ishvara. Huge authority figure. So this is very triggering. Being in a Vedanta course is extremely triggering. Very triggering. And one must be surprised if one is not triggered. So the triggering is normal. If you are being triggered, then that means something is going properly. Something is going well. You are at the brink of, at the cusp of a doorway opening into the heart to let the lotus of the heart blossom. So the triggering should be there. So the triggering will be there, it should be there, but that doesn't mean, I will always be triggered. Even if I'm here for 10 years, I'll be triggered. No. You have the free will, you have Vedanta, you have the essence of everything to overcoming that trigger. And then that's why the teacher here is presented as someone who has overcome those triggers. The teacher has not dropped from the sky. In some airport, I think in New York airport, one raccoon means it looks like, it's like a dog which looks like a bandit. It's got these dark shades around the eyes. It dropped from the ceiling. Yeah, don't know where it was. It dropped from the ceiling. Everybody got very frightened and moved away because usually is a carrier of that, what is that called? Starts with a R. Rabies. So rabies carrier, so everybody moved away, and so like that, the Guru has not dropped from the ceiling or dropped from the sky. Who is the Guru? The one who went to another Guru with the same problems, with the same, and there's something very comforting. Oh, this, so now that authority issue is no longer there because this person also was in my own situation. And she or he overcame them through the grace of his Guru, her Guru, who overcame those issues with the grace of their Gurus, all the way back to Bhagavan. So this way, this is very comforting for the inner child. Okay, you're not you may be an expert, but you were not born that way. You have lived through my pain in the form of your own pain, therefore I can trust you. In fact, the inner child doesn't trust the Guru. The inner child trusts the adult you, and you trust the Guru. It's like anytime, sometimes people come with their children, and I will offer a prasad, and the child will be holding on to the papa like this. Who is this? In orange, I don't know, I'm not this thing. Then the father says, here, I'm receiving prasad. See, you can also receive. And then the child comes and receives the prasad. So it's just like that. You, father or mother, the inner child, and then the inner child trusts you, and you trust the Guru, and slowly it is the inner child integrates into the adult. We are not trying to get rid of the inner child. Here, very beautiful verses are going to come up. The first one is a revelry of the Guru himself. Why? Because when the Guru is praised, then you have more of a confidence, and Shraddha comes very easily. So who is this Guru? Shrotriya, the one who has studied under another Guru. Shrotriya, from a sound lineage. Avrijnaha, dharmic person. Does not teach Vedanta by day and do nefarious activities by night. That is not the idea. Lives the talk, walks the talk. Shrotriyaha avrijnaha, from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. This is akamahataha. Not what is that? Not hijacked by desire. Kamena nahataha. Don't say akamena hataha, then that would be difficult. That's not the vicheda of the samasa. So kamena nahataha. And who is that? This we saw yesterday. Yaha brahmavid tamaha. Even among the other brahmavids, the person is respected. Respected by an international or a national body of scholars and teachers. That is the idea. Then Brahmani Uparataha, the one who is resolved or who is one with Brahman. Yeah. Where is the mind resolved? In Brahman. Brahmani, seventh case. Uparataha, resolved. Shantaha, free of conflict. Shantaha, tranquil, calm, not agitated. If you go to the person, you don't feel like running away. That's the thing. Not agitated. Then Brahmani Uparatha Shantaha. How? Nirindhana Ivanalaha. So when there is indhana means indhanam, fuel. So when there is fuel and then you light a fire, as long as there is fuel, the fire makes crackling noises, right? And the fire lets out, what are they called? Sparks. But then as the fuel has been consumed, you have a steady fire. It is not making crackling noises and it is not going this way, that way. Windless fire, and a nirindhana means a fire which is steadily consuming the fuel and is unagitated. Unagitated fire. Fire why? Bright, knowledge. Steady fire. Like that, calm And steady, like a steady fire of knowledge, the Guru is there. And then what else is the Guru? Daya Sindhuhu. This was also talked about earlier. The sadhana sampannaha daya sindhum. Something upasidet gurum. No, somewhere earlier we saw. Yeah, so we saw this same daya sindhu, ocean of compassion. We have a wrong idea, generally speaking, of compassion. What is the wrong idea? If somebody is suffering, I also have to suffer. If I see something in pain, I also start to cry. This is not the Sanskrit word of daya. This is not the Shastric compassion. And in fact, the word compassion is also, we don't have a word for daya. Compassion in Latin means suffering with. Com means with. But here it is not suffering with. So if the Shishya goes to the Guru and says, oh, I'm attacked by samsara, help, the Guru also starts to cry. Who is going to help? Guru also starts to cry. So this is not compassion. And sometimes we think we are being compassionate. We have somebody on the road, they are not having enough to eat, they are in bad shape, and what do we say? I'm going to give you this. I give money, I give them clothes, I give them some help. Nothing wrong, wonderful, nothing wrong to help. But then the motivation to help is what we are talking about. The motivation to help often is out of a pain here. A pain that is centered on the self. That is why I am helping, because I can't stand to see you not have this. Therefore I am giving it to you. I cannot handle this. If I could handle this, I would walk away. That's the idea. That also is not compassion. So what is daya? I know that you are not suffering. Even though you think you are suffering, I know you are not suffering. But I will pretend that you are suffering and give you a pat on the back, just like the friend of the person who was bitten by the rope said, you know what, we'll go kill that snake. Like instant therapy, like that. So I will pretend that there is a problem and then pretend to solve it, because that is why you are coming to me. So, because otherwise, why would the Guru do this? The Guru would say, what? You know what? I know everything and you are a stupid person because you are believing in all this sorrow. Go away. Guru could say that. No. That is compassion. I know this is not true, but you have the complete, what is that? You are completely sunk into the feeling that this is true. So therefore I will go along with you, but I'll show you this is not true. That is daya sindhu. And what is this compassion for? The compassion, what does this compassion get in return? Nothing. Ahetuka daya sindhu. Daya sindhu, ahetuka means without any expectation, without any reason. Pujya Swamiji would tell this always. I can manage everything. I cannot control compassion. There's only one thing I cannot control, and that is compassion, he would always say. So, ahetuka daya sindhu, meaning just the compassion just pours out, and whoever is around gets it. And who are the people around? Namatam, samantat namatam. Namatam, the people who have surrendered, who are doing namaskara, who say, I want this knowledge from you. And who don't say, I want many things and I also want this knowledge. No, I know that all the other things that I want is only because of this knowledge, and I want this from you. Abandhuhu, to them, the Guru is a friend, a relative. Namatam satam. Satam means the people who are interested in Sat, who are themselves Sat, who are interested in Sat, who want to know Sat, who want to be Sat, live as Sat, live as such, live as Sat, And for them, ahetuka daya sindhu bandhuranamatam satam. And then what to do with this guru? Then what to do? What should the student do is given in the next verse. Tam, who is tam? Gurum. Which kind of guru? The guru that is expressed in glowing terms in the previous one. Shrotriyah, Avrajinah, Akamahatah, Nirindhana Ivanalaha, Ahetuka Daya Sindhuhu, Brahmani Uparatah, Shantaha, all this has to come. Bandhuhu, Anamatam Satam Bandhuhu, that guru, Tam Aradhya. Aradhya means having worshipped. Why do you worship the guru? Because the desire to know is that strong. And so that is, you find the guru worshipful because the guru and the knowledge are one. And the knowledge is worshipful because it is Ishvara, it is the truth of you. So therefore, since the guru and the knowledge are non-separate from each other, they are identical to one another. So therefore, the guru is worshipful. Having worshipped such a guru, how? Bhaktya, with Shraddha. It's not like, oh, the book said I have to worship. Here, Arati, bye-bye. No, heartfelt. Worship without a heart is not worship. Bhaktya. Bhaktya means with the heart, with reverence, with Shraddha, with devotion. Tamaradhya Gurum Bhaktya. And then how to do that is also given in the 3 P's. No, 2 P's and 1 S. PPS. Parahva Prashraya Sevanaihi. This is borrowed. This is borrowed from the 36th verse of the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Then what does it say? There also it says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Always that tune. Then the next line will also come. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshinaha. Always the tune has to come for Bhagavad Gita. Then the words will come. So there we were taught. What were we taught? So 3 things. So Tadvidhi, know this truth. How? Pranipatena. Pranipata means falling on the ground in the form of namaskar. Straight namaskar. But why I have to bend? Because it is very good. Bending is very good. Yeah. Bending is an enactment of what needs to happen inside. Inside, the ahankara has to bend. Ahankara won't bend until the body bends. Bending is also good for the midriff. Yeah, one has a very nice figure. If you keep doing namaskara to all the gurus, you have a good figure. So, bending is a metaphoric bending. But it is not just a metaphoric bending, it is an enacted metaphor. You cannot say, I know it's your birthday, but I didn't get you a present. Why didn't you get me a present? You know it's my birthday. Why didn't you get me a present? Oh, you can just imagine I got you a present. In my heart, I feel a lot of love for you, but I didn't get you a present. And I even forgot to wish you. That has nothing. Birthday of a very loved friend or a family member, what does it mean? You go out of the way. You go to buy a card. What is the life of a card? A few minutes. They will read and throw. But you go out of the way to get a card. You go out of the way to make or buy a present. Then when you buy the present, what do? Wrap it up. Wrap it up and put a bow, put a, satin ribbon, and then give. And then do you say to them, I have wrapped it with great difficulty, keep it like that? No. What do you say? Open it. I want to see your face. I want to see how you like it. So they will tear it open. And you want that. You see, that is all the, and see, there is, love cannot be shown unless it is enacted. Love has to be enacted. Shraddha is a form of love. Bhakti is Parama Prema Swarupa Bhakti. Narada's Bhakti Sutras, the definition of Bhakti is the first sutra. Parama Prema Swarupa. It is the form of the ultimate love. Bhakti is. So here too, you have to wrap up the Bhakti in acts that show that there is that love for the knowledge. And that is pranipata namaskara. Here the word used is prahva. Prahva literally means bending. Prahvi bhava. Bending. And that bending, the ahankara is all just, upright and thinks too much of itself. I make it bend. Prahvaha. Then prashraya means there is a pariprashna, asking questions. What pariprashna means? Asking questions that is relevant, not irrelevant questions. Relevant questions that help me. Some people start to interrogate the teacher. How long you studied? Where did you go? What were you doing before? How did you do this? That's not the point. That's all just a waste of time. Because as I told you, the teacher didn't drop from the sky. Teacher had parents. Teacher had grandparents. Teacher went to school. Teacher went to college. This is not worth talking about. The only thing that is worth talking about is the knowledge. And that is where I use the time with the teacher to ask those kinds of questions which will help lighten my ignorance and enlighten me to understanding what is really needing to be understood. Prahva prashraya sevanaihi. Seva we talked about yesterday. It's just, it looks funny to stand around the Guru all the time. Guru will get tired of you. Guru will throw you out of the room after a while. So, you say, I'm going to do seva, you try to do something to keep yourself busy so that in the process, if something is told, you will understand. That is, so these are the three things. Prahva prashraya sevanaihi, gurum bhaktya tam aradhya. Then what? Prasannam tam anuprapya. Anuprapya, having gained that person. Tam anuprapya, having gained them. How? Prasannaha. The Guru should be happy with your seva, with your pariprashna and with your pranipata. Prasannam, cheerful. And this always is funny because one would think that the Guru should be cheerful all the time, correct? What is the point of going to a cheerless Guru? Then it becomes a codependent knowledge. First I have to prop up the Guru and make the Guru cheerful. And then I have to study from the Guru. That is not the idea. Guru is always cheerful. Here prasanna means satisfied that you are worthy of teaching. The teacher has to be satisfied that you are worthy of her or his time. It's not that the teacher is going to invest time in you and then you just go to sleep, or you just don't show up, or you just don't get the knowledge, or you just don't work for it. Then it's the waste of the student's time, and not only that, it's also the waste of the teacher's time. So the teacher has to ascertain that you are worthy of this teaching. And there are many ways to do that. The teacher sometimes can do it in 1 second. Or the teacher can do it over a period of time. Just watch, wait and watch the person. So that is, so the onus of proving that I am worthy of your time is not the Guru's problem, it is my problem. I have to show the teacher, I am worthy of this knowledge, I am worthy of your time, teach me, be with me. So, prasannam tam anuprapya, prichet, may then one ask for this knowledge, jnatavyam, that which is jnatavyam, that which is to be known, you please ask. Atmanaha jnatavyam, for oneself, the truth of oneself, one should ask. Now the very nice dialogue takes place. The Guru is approached by the student. What to say, what should the Guru say, and what should the student say? First, the student will talk. The student will describe her or his predicament. And that is the next verse. Very beautiful. Durvara samsara davagnitaptam
Durvara-samsara-davagnitaptam
Dodhuyamanam duradrishtavataihi
Dodhuyamanam durashtavataihi
Bhitam prapannam paripahi mrityoho
Bhitam prapannam paripari mrityoho
Tvadan sharanamanyam yadaham na jane. Yeah. So we'll do it one more time because I made a mistake in the last line. Durvara samsara davagnitaptam
Durvara-samsara-davagnitaptam
Dodhuyamanam duradrishtavataihi
Dodhuyamanam duradrishtavataihi
Bhitam prapannam paripahi mrityoho
Bhitam prapannam paripari mrityoho
Sharanyamanyam yadaham na jane.
Sharanyamanyam yadaham na jane.
Very beautiful. This is, who is talking now? Student is talking. Student is describing her predicament. What has happened to me? Please listen because nobody listens. You please listen. You are my last hope. So you please listen because I've tried talking like this to many people and they all think I'm an idiot. They all think I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in anywhere. And so what does the student say? Taptam. Taptam means I am burnt, burning. Taptaha, suffering. Tapa has two meanings, heat and discomfort, both. Here both of them are to be used because of the metaphor of the fire. Agni is there, the word Agni is there. What kind of Agni? Davagni. Davagni taptaha aham. Davagni taptoham. Davagni means forest fire. I am in the middle of a forest fire. Help. You know, when somebody is in the fire, you don't say, let me go and have some coffee and then I'll try to put it out. No. Fire means you are only have one focus, that is samadhanam, one focus. And what is that? How to put this out permanently. That is this. So, the student here is saying, I am in the midst of a terrible, it's as though I am in the midst of a terrible forest fire. And if that's not enough, as though that is not enough, on top of that, it's a windy day. If it's a windy day, what happens to the fire? It increases exponentially. The small fire becomes a conflagration. From one forest, it jumps to another forest. From the hill, it jumps to the plains. From the plains, it jumps to the hill. It just goes like this. Forest fire. Not only am I in the middle of a forest fire, to make matters worse, what has happened to me? The winds are coming. The winds are propelling the fire even further, making it a terrible situation, hell. And what are the winds? Durvara samsara davagni taptam. So the winds are my own bad karma, my own papa. The winds of Papa is making the fire, this forest fire of samsara, even more unbearable. And Durvara here means it is difficult to contain. Durvara, dukkhena varayati, Durvara, difficult to contain. I am in the middle of a forest fire that is difficult to contain. Okay? Not only that, do dhuyamanam, dhu to be shaken up, do, it becomes, and then it's a frequentative usage, meaning not just shaken once. If I'm shaken once, I can get up. Repeatedly shaken up. If I'm repeatedly being shaken, then I don't have time to stabilize myself. Do dhuyamanam, I'm repeatedly shaken up by what? Duradrishta. Adrishta, papa. Duradrishta, bad adrishta. Adrishta can be punya also, but here the word dus is there. Duradrishta, by the winds of papa. Duradrishta vataihi. Vata here is wind. Vatiti vayuhu. So, by the winds of ill fortune, this is, I am shaken up. Kind of similar to what Hamlet said. I wonder if Hamlet had studied Viveka Chudamani. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it's nobler in the mind to suffer the winds of outrageous slings and arrows, he says, of outrageous fortune. Slings and arrows, here are the winds. The winds of outrageous fortune, bad karma, my own karma coming back to me. And then the student says, Bhitam Prapannam, I'm a ball of fear. I'm nothing but an embodiment, an incarnation of fear. Prapannam means I have gained so much fear that I have become the fear itself. That is one kind of Advaita. I have become fear. I have become one with the fear, I cannot distinguish at all. Paripahi mrityoho, save me from the death which is certain. What kind of a death? The death of samsara which keeps repeating itself. Mrityoho sa mrityum apnoti yaha naneva pashyati. Kathopanishad. The one who goes from death to death, the one who keeps on seeing, say nana iva pashyati. The one who keeps on seeing two in place of one, many in place of one, who has bought into this samsara, that one, mrityoho mrityum apnoti yaha naneva pashyati. Here, bhitam prapannam paripahi mrityoho. Sharanyam means the place of refuge, anyam. Yat aham na jane. There's also a part of Bheda. Tvat anya, tvadanyam na jane. That's also okay. Tvadanyam means other than you, I don't see any place of refuge. And here also, other than this, there is no place of refuge. No other refuge I can see. Because if the fire was just a fire, I could contain it. But here it is made into a conflagration. It is increased by the winds of bad karma. And then I keep dying repeated deaths. And then how to come out of it, I don't know. You please tell me. Very beautiful and very helpful to know how to approach the teacher, what kind of question to have, all this very nicely demonstrated. It's like the ABC of Vedanta. Very well done. More we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. That's it. This you take, okay?
Okay.
Or we can take it for him over there. We can take it for him over there. The Jula one.
He has enough.
He has
Namaskar, Swamini ji. Thank you. Thank you so much. Love you.